Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, founder, and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you so much for joining us, whether this is your first episode or you've been with us the whole way. We just want to thank you for supporting, being a part of Voices for Voices, and if you're able to, give us a subscribe, a thumbs up, and share this show, this podcast with your networks. We greatly appreciate it. I have a huge goal, as those who have been with us from the beginning already know, of wanting to help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond through Voices for Voices, the nonprofit organization that has this show. And thank you again. Here in the United States and across the world, it's really humbling to think that we're touching so many people's lives, both here in Northeast Ohio, Hudson area, Western Reserve, United States as a whole, and then over 50 countries outside of the United States. So it's incredible, and we don't take it lightly that we're coming into your living rooms, your dorms, your offices, your earbuds on an airplane, on a subway, train, what have you. We just thank you that you would take any time out of any of your days to join us. So thank you again. We're going to be talking about anxiety, which we've talked about multiple times, but we're going to talk about anxiety and how that can lead to potential life-threatening situations. And so we'll just jump right in. Recently, so when this airs, when you're first watching and listening to this story will be a month or month and a half old. But I'll just ask, how do you react? How does your body react when you're in a stressful, anxious situation? I know for me, there seems to be always a stressful situation that makes me anxious, and for me there's just a multitude of ways that as far as how I work through that, and two of those ways, one is therapy, and another is medication. And again, we're not advocating one way or another for medication. I'm speaking about me personally and my experience. As well as through past group therapy sessions that I've been a part of. Something as simple of just saying, I'm safe, I'm okay, and this instant I'm safe and I'm okay. We don't know what the next instant, what the next minute, the next hour, next day is gonna bring us. But that's one of the things I took from one of our group therapy sessions that I was in 2017 and 2018 in a group setting, as well as there's adult coloring books. There's a multitude of ways, and what I would say is just find what works for you. What works for me probably isn't what works for you. Maybe a part of it is, and a part of it isn't. Because I had to find that out, because I couldn't sit around a table of 10 other individuals talking about my mental health and how things were going for me, and think that, oh, well, this is working for them, or this isn't working for them, so I'm not even going to try it because it's not working for them. And so I didn't want to project myself and my thoughts on another individual's thoughts and how they're handling a situation. I look at it much like when you have a big decision to make, you want to have as much information as possible. So if you're looking to buy a house, you want to have as much information about the neighborhood, the safety, any other homes that were sold in the area, what they sold for, when were they sold, what school district, and the like. And so you're gathering a lot of information, and some of it you and I would look at more than others, that we would put more weight to it. And those are the things for therapy, for anxiety, and really anything that you're talking about, and I'm talking about my situation, my experiences. If it's an individual session, and then my therapist is giving feedback. If it's a group setting, then there are going to be others that are in that therapy with you, and we're each going to have an opportunity to share and speak. And so there's going to be a lot of information, a lot of things that others have and are going through that I'm not, or I haven't. And I have to remember that it's about that information gathering of like, oh, well, maybe I'll try this, or maybe I'll try that. So we want to think of things kind of in that sense of, is anything working now when you're in an anxious or a stressful environment? And then are there other ways? I mean, we can obviously head to our phones or our laptops or iPads, and we can obviously do a search and find some things that others are doing and have done. But again, we just want to take those with a grain of salt, because we don't want to automatically jump into, oh, well, this person is getting through their anxiety by doing this and that and the other. And that's really helpful to, again, just gather as much information and find out what works for you. The other thing is, we don't know how others are going to react in those stressful situations, whether we think of it as just like a normal everyday scenario, or we think of it as maybe something that's like more special, or maybe traveling of, we've never flown on an airplane before, and the destination we're going to, we have to fly on an airplane. How are we going to work through that? And so those are the things that you want to think about. So we're going to transition from the stress, anxiety, fear, panic attack, to actual situations. And so the story that I referred to at the beginning is what I want to talk about now, is in Montenegro, which is obviously another area, another country where people go to visit for vacation. And if anybody's been around an ocean, there are different activities that you're able to partake in, where that's just hanging out, having a cabana to block some of the sun out, and reading a book, listening to music, just listening to the waves, just taking things in. Or there's also, you could jet ski or parasail, and then the parasail is, they basically, you're connected with a harness that's connected to a parachute on a boat, and the boat goes, and then you, and if you're by yourself or if you're doing tandem, go up into the air, maybe 100 feet, whatever wherever that tops out at, and you go through that. And so that's something that is available. And so in Montenegro, there is a story, and it's heartbreaking, where there was a young lady that went parasailing, and so she got on the boat, and I think that from what I've read and heard in the news stories, once she got her harness and everything connected, it was her turn, because usually you're on a boat with maybe, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 others, and so you take the turn. So it's like, okay, well, we'll go first, we'll go second. And so when it got to be her turn and she got into the harness, she started to have a panic attack. She started to, like, freak out, and so the boat started going. She started going up into the air with the parachute, again connecting to the harness, as for safety precautions, obviously. And at a particular moment, she was many feet above the water, and she started having a panic attack. And so when we say, well, I would handle it this way, and I would handle it that way, and why would somebody do this? Well, what ended up happening was she ended up having a panic attack and started to unbuckle the harness that was to keep her safe, to keep her connected to the parachute. And so she did. She disconnected the harness, and she was removed from the harness, removed from the parachute, and she fell to her death into the water. And so it's a very, very, it's heartbreaking, really, to even just think about that. And so there's a lot of people out there, they're like, well, why would she do that? Like, why would, if you're going through stress and a panic attack, why would you try to get yourself out of something that is meant to help save you and help keep you safe? And that's where I go back to, we're all human beings. We all react different in different situations. So we don't know what was going on in her mind. But what ended up happening was she did have a panic attack, because as the boat was getting started and she was connected, she was allegedly, and again, we're not there, so we don't have on the boots on the ground coverage. But what has been reported in some news outlets is that once she got connected and then the boat started going and then the parachute started doing its thing and inflating, and that she was, get me out of this, or something to that effect. And now, one of the worst times to have not just to have a panic attack, because I parasailed with my now wife, and it was scary. It was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like, I can't wait to do this. And then when I did it, and it's you're going up, and then there's this, at least for me, there was just that moment, like, okay, like I'm still buckled in. We're still connected. My now wife, because it was years before we were married that we did this, and so then I was able to enjoy, the few minutes that we were at kind of the max height of the parasail, and I know I was stressed, and it was one of those things where I just thought, like, okay, well, the boat's gonna start going and we're gonna start going up. Like, there's no getting around it. That's what this is, and so that's an instance that I can relate to a little bit of having some stress around that activity, and so unfortunately this young lady passed away, and was she gone to therapy? We don't know, and that's not really for us to really judge. We're just sharing this information, sharing this story, because it has garnered national and international attention, and it gives us another reason to keep stressing, which is how our organization, Voices for Voices, was founded. Around mental health, trauma, addiction, recovery, those types of areas. So this gives us another way of saying, okay, if I'm in that situation, or maybe I know somebody, let me reach out. And so it'd say, who do we reach out to? We can reach out today or any day here in the United States. And so that's where, country to country, city to city, township, province are going to have their own protocols. But here in the United States, I can say that there is help available if you or somebody you know is going through a crisis. And that is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline that's available 24 hours a day. It's also in English and Spanish. And what you can do is you can either call 988, you can text 988, you can chat on their website, which is 988lifeline.org, which is O-R-G. And we know that life's challenges are definitely, some are harder than others, and we just want to have a way to help if we're able to. And so to know that that's available here in the United States, which that's recent in the last couple of years, that this has become kind of a federal, so like all in the United States is covered, versus one town, one city, one township. And so we hope that more countries adopt a policy that's similar, to at least have that lifeline out there. We can't control whether somebody uses the lifeline or whether they don't, but we can have the resources and resource available that if somebody, again, it's much easier, I've found, when you're kind of like behind your phone, that you're not like face to face, with somebody and speaking, and you're talking about very sensitive topics and experiences, and so that's why this 988 Lifeline is so ingenious, because it gives so many ways, and really all of them, except maybe the chat, you maybe do kind of like a FaceTime thing or a Zoom where you see them and they see you. But texting or calling, you're able to, in a way, remain anonymous, and so you don't have to tell friends, family, others. We just, as a human race, we just want to see people that are going through tough situations, because we all do, and we handle, again, that stress and anxiety and that panic and panic attacks. Some of us have them, some of us don't. Some have them driving, some have them, like I mentioned in a prior episode, in a conference room or in a meeting, whether you have a speaking part or whether you're just there to take notes. That there's just so many, let's just say life's not easy. Growing up, I wish that I would have learned a lot more about the mental side of stress and anxiety and fear and panic, of how to manage that in those situations. And we talked in a prior episode about the corporate life, or really just any job life, where sometimes restructurings, there's not enough money for a particular project, and so the project may not be able to continue. And so if there's 3 people working on that project, maybe those 3 people are unfortunately going to lose their job. And so that's going to create a lot of panic and trauma, and oh my gosh, like it's a huge, it's a milestone, a major milestone in our lives, like being born, being married, having a child or children, being baptized. There's certain life events that happen, and getting that job offer and accepting it is one of those. So that's in that positive light. But then we also have to think of the flip side, that, as we know, everything's not rosy and my daughter's name. Everything's not sunny and unicorns out there. That there is from time to time, and some individuals more than others seem to go through tough time after tough time after tough time, and it's not a bad thing. Don't feel ashamed to ask for help. This young lady that passed away in Montenegro on vacation, that was her conference room really for me. So me being in the corporate America, or even having our shows and our podcasts, I still get nervous and I'm anxious, and I say like a lot, I say and a lot, and I stutter sometimes, but it's authentic. It's who we are as human beings, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And so an individual who is on vacation and decides to do the parasailing, we don't know how that person felt. We don't know what led up to that. We don't know that there was trauma she was dealing with from the past or recently. We just don't know. Was she bullied? Because we know that is a big problem, especially with, as we know, with social media, of looking at videos and photos and saying, oh my gosh, like, these people, they're always at the beach, they're always doing all these great things, and like, how's their face so clear, and their body, like, so close to perfect. It's like we start to judge ourselves against something that is not really realistic, because from our position, from my position, nobody's perfect, God's perfect, and we're all gonna have things that we're gonna do well at. We're gonna have things we're gonna fail at, and really to harken back to an earlier episode with Jason Simpson we had, kind of in the entertainment industry, actor, voiceover actor, regular physical actor. He talked about that himself, of making mistakes, and it's okay. And he's watched people and shadowed people in the industry, and they've made mistakes. And so he was looking at those situations of how does like an A-lister making millions and millions and all this, what we would think of, like, oh, they're getting, they have the life, they're able to do whatever they want with the money and that. But he's watched people at the top of their game make mistakes, and he's seen how they in his industry, how they react with that. And so that's the same thing really here, that we're going to be in situations, and we're gonna make mistakes. We make mistakes every day. Just on the way to the studio, I got some gas, and did the card, the tap, and picked the unleaded, opened up the gas cap, the door, and then the gas cap on my car, and then as I took the gas filler off of the place it hangs. See, I'm at a loss of words right now. It's funny. But anyway, so I took it off to go to put it into the gas tank to be filled up. And so I picked it up, and there was the handle wasn't pulled, but there was a decent amount of gas, a liquid that just spewed out of the gas handle thing. And so here I am coming to the studio to film some of our shows, and the last thing you want is to spill something that's going to be noticeable, and even at that, there's going to be wrinkles on clothes no matter what. It's just the way it is. There's a wrinkle on my t-shirt and jacket, and it's just who we are. And so that gas situation, so that happened. Luckily, I was able to step back and not get any on me because I'd be smelling like gasoline, and that nobody wants that. So anyways, I didn't really have control over it. Somehow the mechanism had a little bit of gas left in it, that when the next person, which was me, went to fill up my gas tank, that some of it came out, and there's nothing I can do about it. I couldn't have really prepared any better. I mean, I did take a little bit of a step back, but I think I did that more of because I was going to the studio, coming here to the studio, and so that probably helped out a little bit. But anyways, there's going to be stuff. We're going to be opening the cupboard to maybe get cereal out, and something else is going to fall and hit the floor and maybe spill, and you got to pick. Things like that just happen. And so for me, I just have to go, well, I can't help it. There's nothing I can do. I mean, I could go in for the gas situation. I could go in and talk to the attendant and say, hey, this happened to me, and it might not happen ever again at that pump, at that particular gas station. So we just kind of go with the flow and try to, as much as possible, try to minimize some of those things that might not go our way, and to go after those things that we feel passionate about. Again, I go back to our one of our shows with Jason, and he said that he wasn't good at anything. He knew he wanted to go into film. He didn't know what that looked like. He was growing up, but from an age of 10, watching Transformers, that was something that he knew that he wanted to do. Didn't know how it was going to happen, but he had that passion. He had the dream to do it, and that's something that we want. We want you and everybody who is touched by Voices for Voices to dream, go after your dreams, and do what you're passionate about. We only have one life here on Earth, and so that's been helpful for me with our organization, is just because I'm just so passionate about the mental health and the trauma and recovery and all those things. That is it work to put on shows and without a teleprompter and that, but it's just how I am. It's like I've grown. We're a lot of episodes in, so I've just learned as I've gone. And sometimes the intro is one way, sometimes it's another. Sometimes the outro is one way, sometimes it's the other. It doesn't matter. What matters is we want to be a voice and a place for you to share your voice. And if you would like to share your voice and be a guest on our show, definitely reach out, comment. We would be happy to have a conversation and help share your voice and help inspire others. And that's what we're here for. So rest in peace, the young lady who passed away, Montenegro, who just had a panic attack at not a good time. So until next time, please be a voice for you or somebody in need.